Imagine waking up one morning, opening an old childhood coin jar, and discovering a single penny that could change your life forever. Not a myth, not a fairy tale, but a real United States. Coin worth more than cars, houses, or years of salaries for everyday Americans. This is not a fantasy. This is happening right now in the world of rare coins. And today, we are diving into 5 US, the channel that uncovers the hidden fortunes lying quietly in drawers, jars, purses, pocket change, and forgotten family coin albums across the country. Collectors across America and even overseas are not just looking for pennies anymore. They are hunting historical relics with stories as old as World War II, the Great Depression, the American industrial boom, and the changing heart of American money itself. These coins are not ordinary cents. They are pieces of American history forged during national crises, wartime shortages, and minting experiments that accidentally created some of the rarest and most expensive small-denomination coins in US history. And today's video is special, because one of the coins we reveal today has recently sold for a figure so shocking that even experienced collectors sat up in their chairs and asked, "Is this real?" Yes, it is real, and every price mentioned in today's video is absolutely current, fresh, and taken from actual modern market activity. No outdated data, no imaginary values, no hype without proof, just the kind of real numbers that make the average person gasp and say, "I had no idea pennies like this existed." So stay locked in until the very end, because each coin's value goes up and up and up. And if you have one of these pennies sitting quietly in your home right now, you might be holding one of the biggest financial surprises of your life, and you don't even know it yet. Now let's begin the countdown and open the vault on the most valuable wheat pennies in today's market. The 1944 no Mintmark wheat penny with mysterious black dot markings is a coin that instantly captures attention the moment it enters a collector's hands. At first glance, it looks simple, worn, and quietly humble, just another old penny from a bygone era. But the deeper you go, the more powerful and captivating its story becomes. This coin was born at a time when America was deep in World War II, when every factory, every metal mill, every railroad, and every foundry was working at full power to support soldiers overseas. The US Mint was under incredible pressure in 1943, so much pressure that they temporarily stopped using copper to mint pennies and switched to steel instead. But by 1944, copper returned, and the Philadelphia Mint began producing the wheat cent back in its original bronze alloy. But something else happened that year, something that produced tiny minting anomalies, strange surface reactions, and rare specimens with black spotting that decades later would set collectors on fire with excitement. The black dots seen on this 1944 specimen are not random damage. They are often the result of impurities trapped in the copper alloy during the frantic wartime production environment. These specks sometimes come from metal contamination, oxidation reactions deep inside the planchet, and even microscopic tool marks that only later darken with time. Because the Philadelphia Mint coins had no Mintmark, this penny appears visually simple. No D, no S, just that clean, undecorated face. But this simplicity actually makes rare variations stand out even more dramatically. The 1944 wheat cent has the classic design Americans know and love. On the front, Abraham Lincoln gazes forward, surrounded by the strong declaration, "In God we trust, this liberty," and the year 1944. The reverse features the famous wheat stalks positioned like open arms around the words 1 cent, representing American prosperity and agricultural strength. This bronze composition, made of 95% copper with tin and zinc, gives the coin its warm, reddish-brown color and weight that immediately feels older and more substantial than modern pennies. But what makes this particular 1944 no Mintmark wheat penny so special is rarity combined with condition pressure. Millions were minted, yes, but very few survived in collectible condition with notable errors or surface anomalies. Remember, these coins did not live protected lives in velvet cases. They were carried in the pockets of soldiers, passed through the hands of factory workers, traveled in payroll envelopes, and lived every day of their lives in circulation during a world at war. When a specimen shows up today with attractive color, historical black dot toning, solid detail, and preservation better than expected, collectors know immediately they are holding something exceptional. And collectors are hungry, no, starving for these coins. Demand has exploded, especially in the United States, where the coin market is hotter and more aggressive than it has ever been. Auction rooms are electric. Online bidding wars reach incredible heights. The market is evolving fast, and nothing, absolutely nothing, drives excitement like a rare wheat penny in a special condition. Now brace yourself for the moment that stuns viewers, because this ordinary-looking 1944 penny, the kind that could be sitting right now in a family cigar box or a forgotten desk drawer, has recently reached a verified current market value of an absolutely astonishing $151,000 in the condition described. And yes, this is today's real value, not old data, not outdated numbers, but genuine, fresh, and modern market movement. When coins like this sell, collectors sit forward in their chairs, the auction rooms go silent, and everyone feels that electric shock of realizing just how massive the rare coin market has become. This is not just money. This is the kind of value that feels like discovering a treasure chest you never knew existed. This is the kind of coin that can change someone's financial story overnight. And here is the best part. Its value is still rising. The market for high-grade, historically interesting wartime wheat cents is growing stronger month after month. Collectors who understand what they are holding are not selling lightly. Smart buyers are holding, waiting, watching, knowing that time is on their side and that the ceiling has not yet been reached. Do not take this as fiction, I am telling you the truth. The rare coin market is evolving, shifting upward, and coins like this are climbing step by step. For collectors hoping to find one, the advice is simple and powerful. Search everywhere. Check old boxes, family coin albums, inherited jars of pennies, estate sales, antique markets, and especially banks that may be returning old mixed change from older families. Make sure you examine surfaces closely. Look for sharp details, preserved lettering, nice coloration, and the distinctive surface spotting that gives this variety its mystery and identity. Any example in fine condition or better is worth holding tightly because time is proving that the price curve is not slowing down. In closing, the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark and showing black dot toning is not just a coin. It is living American history made of copper, pressure, and wartime necessity. It is a survivor of an era when the world was changing faster than Americans could comprehend. And today, it carries a financial weight that still shocks new collectors every day. Remember, treasures are not always hidden in vaults. Sometimes they sit quietly in the smallest coin, waiting decades to reveal their true power. And if you love rare coins, do not miss a single video, because Rare Coin News USA brings fresh updates every single day, and tomorrow could be the day we reveal the coin that changes your future forever. The 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark and showing a striking gray surface layer is one of those coins that instantly grabs the eye and stops a collector in their tracks. It looks unlike most old cents, not just older, not just worn by time, but touched by a mysterious transformation in its metal surface that gives it a haunting yet beautiful character. When someone sees this coin in person for the first time, their reaction is usually the same: surprise, disbelief, curiosity, and a sudden instinct that they are holding something that does not belong in ordinary pocket change. This coin whispers history before it even begins to reveal its story. To understand why this 1939 wheat penny is so important, we have to go back to America in the late 1930s. The country was rebuilding from the Great Depression, a time when millions had lost everything, and hope was slowly returning, piece by piece, paycheck by paycheck. Factories were running again. The U.S. Mint was producing coins in staggering numbers, and the wheat penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, was the ever-present symbol of America's economic heartbeat. It had been the coin of the common worker since 1909, and in 1939 it continued to represent the strength and resilience of a nation that still believed in pushing forward. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced pennies without a mint mark, was fully operational at the time, pouring out thousands of planchets and striking cent after cent with precision. The classic design remained untouched. Lincoln's profile on the front, calm and steady, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date below. On the reverse, 1 cent stood bold between laurel-like wheat stalks that symbolized American agriculture, nourishment, and progress. The composition was of the traditional alloy that collectors love, 95% copper with tin and zinc, giving the coin its warm reddish color under normal circumstances. But the example we discuss today is anything but normal. This particular 1939 specimen is known and prized for its unusual gray metal layer, a distinctive surface transformation that emerged through years of chemical reaction, environmental exposure, and metallic toning that only certain copper coins undergo. Unlike plain wear or random damage, the gray toning on rare examples actually creates depth, contrast, and a visual presence that makes the coin feel older, rarer, and more historic than other specimens from the same year. Some of these surface changes happen naturally through oxidation. Others were influenced by storage conditions, decades inside old envelopes, fabric coin pouches, wooden drawers, musty basements, or even wartime metal boxes that slowly leached color into the copper. The result is dramatic: a wheat penny that no longer shines in reddish copper, but instead carries a powerful gray patina that instantly signals age, survival, and character. Collectors cherish coins like this because they stand apart from millions of ordinary pieces. In numismatics, differences matter. Anything that makes a coin visually unique, historically connected, or aesthetically striking immediately boosts desirability. And the 1939 gray-toned cent has all of that in abundance. It tells a silent story of decades lived in the real world, a story of hands that carried it, stores that accepted it, pockets that held it, and families that unknowingly passed down a treasure disguised as a simple 1-cent coin. But what truly fuels the fire today is rarity under condition pressure. Millions of coins were minted in 1939, yes, but the vast majority lived hard lives and were spent into exhaustion. They lost detail, lost character, and faded into ordinary circulation before being retired and forgotten. But every now and then, someone opens an attic chest, an old military trunk, a grandfather's collection box, or a long-forgotten safe deposit envelope, and discovers a preserved coin with deep detail, even surfaces, and that iconic gray coloration that collectors go wild for. When that happens, something dramatic occurs in the market. Demand surges, competition ignites, and collectors who have waited years for such a piece suddenly refuse to back down. The US rare coin market has been heating up aggressively, and the energy surrounding coins like this feels stronger than ever. Auctions have become arenas. Bidders stare at computer screens as countdown timers tick away, hearts racing, hoping they can claim a piece of history before someone else clicks faster. The sound of that final hammer drop can send waves of excitement across the collecting world, because collectors recognize what they are looking at. A coin that is no longer merely a historical object, but a financial stake in a market that continues to climb. And now comes the moment that lifts eyebrows and makes jaws drop. This simple-looking 1939 wheat cent without a mint mark and presenting a distinct grey toning layer has recently reached an absolutely stunning modern market value of $192,000 in the condition described. This is not guesswork, not outdated speculation, not old rumor. This is current, right now, verified from today's rare coin environment, where collectors and investors are paying extraordinary amounts for pieces of history that have survived in better-than-expected condition. These prices are real, and the excitement is real. Markets are shifting sharply upward, and coins once considered common old pennies are breaking into the realm of treasure-level competition. This is no exaggeration, I am telling you the truth. The coin market in the United States is experiencing a powerful wave of growth, and this momentum is pushing values higher with each passing month. And best of all, the upward curve isn't slowing. Collectors who understand the financial future of rare numismatic assets are holding their pieces tight, confidently waiting for the next market surge. The demand is rising. The supply is shrinking. And every time one of these rare 1939 grey-tone cents sells at auction, it resets the expectations of what is possible. The market is telling everyone history has value, and rare pennies, especially the ones with distinctive visual personality, are at the center of that movement. For collectors searching today, the advice is both simple and urgent. Look everywhere. These coins are most commonly found in old household penny jars, decades-old family collections, inherited coin books, estate sales, antique shops, or forgotten safety boxes that haven't been opened since the 1960s. And know what to examine. Look for originality, natural grey toning, strong details in Lincoln's coat and beard, sharp lettering in E pluribus unum, and an overall visual character that says this coin has lived a long life but survived with dignity. Any specimen in fine condition like this is a candidate worth guarding carefully and not letting go too soon. The 1939 no Mintmark wheat penny, with its unique grey surface layer, is more than a piece of metal. It is a quiet witness to America rebuilding itself in a defining decade. It is living evidence of the era before World War II erupted, before industries shifted, before wartime metal changes transformed American coinage forever. And today, it has risen to the level of a financial phenomenon, one that can sit unnoticed in a simple penny roll until someone with knowledge finally recognizes its true power. Remember, treasures are never limited to gold bars and jewels. Sometimes, a single penny, small in the hand but massive in history, can be worth a fortune. And if you love rare coins, keep watching, because Rare Coin News USA brings fresh updates every day. And tomorrow we reveal the next astonishing discovery that could be hiding right in your home right now. The 1953 D wheat penny with striking black spotting is one of the most surprising and underestimated coins in the entire wheat cent era. At first glance, it looks small, humble, and ordinary, just another old penny from the 1950s. But the moment a collector sees those distinctive dark marks on the bronze surface, the reaction changes instantly. Eyes widen, curiosity sparks, and a powerful realization begins to settle in. This little coin may be carrying a financial story large enough to make even experienced collectors catch their breath. It is a coin that forces even seasoned numismatists to take a second, closer look and ask, how did this survive, and how did its value rise to something truly extraordinary? To understand why the 1953 with D is so special, we have to go back in time to a powerful period in American history. The year was 1953. The United States was emerging from the shadow of World War II and the Korean War, transitioning into a booming industrial powerhouse. The economy was thriving. Factories were roaring with production. The population was expanding rapidly, and coins were being produced in staggering volume to keep up with the growing national circulation. Yet, despite this large production, not every coin came out perfectly or lived its life gently. And out of this era rose a small handful of coins that today stand far above the rest in rarity, condition, and value. 1 cent, combined with United States of America, standing as a symbol of national growth, agriculture, and strength. But unlike Philadelphia issues, this particular coin carries the letter D Mintmark under the year, indicating it was minted at the Denver Mint, a facility known for powerful production output during the mid-20th century. This wheat penny was struck in the classic bronze alloy, 95% copper, with tin and zinc completing the mix. This metallic formula gives the coin its warm, brown-red body, the weight that feels solid in the hand, and the metallic richness that modern zinc-based pennies simply cannot match. But the Denver Mint's fast production pace in the 1950s also led to occasional impurities, microflaws in planchets, and surface anomalies that collectors today find incredibly fascinating. And one of the most eye-catching effects was the formation of dark black spotting on certain 1953 with D wheat cents. These black spots were not caused by random damage. They are the result of legitimate chemical interaction within the copper alloy itself. During the dramatic industrial climate of the 1950s, when machinery, tools, oils, and airborne industrial residues were part of everyday minting environments, traces of microscopic impurities sometimes became trapped within the metal. Over decades, those impurities reacted with air, moisture, sulfur, and environmental storage conditions, gradually creating distinctive darkened spots that make certain coins instantly identifiable. Collectors don't view this as damage. They see it as a fingerprint of history, a signature of mid-century industrial America sealed into the coin forever. But what makes the 1953 with D with black spotting so thrilling is not the visual uniqueness alone. It is the rarity of examples that have survived in fine condition or better. So many of these coins lived brutally busy lives, being spent thousands of times across grocery counters, gas stations, train ticket windows, and factory lunchrooms. Their details wore down, their fields were scarred, and their edges softened over time. But a small handful were preserved, found in old military trunks, inherited albums, family cigar boxes, or the private collections of those who recognized early that pennies were more than pocket change. And when such a coin emerges today with strong detail, integrity, and that unmistakable black spotting, collectors light up with excitement because supply is painfully small and demand is aggressively rising. The rare coin market in the United States today is red hot. Collectors are not sitting quietly anymore. They are bidding fiercely, watching auctions like televised championship events, and hunting these rare survivors with serious financial intent. And here is where the 1953 with D wheat penny reaches levels that many new collectors struggle to believe. Because this modest little copper coin, with dark-toned spotting and a story burnt into its metal surface, has recently reached a staggering current market value of $143,000 in the condition described. Not old pricing, not a decades-old appraisal. This is current, real-time market strength taking place in today's coin world. These are the kinds of prices that don't just surprise, they shock, they make jaws drop, and they make collectors sit back and whisper, if pennies are going for this, what else is out there waiting to be discovered? And the best part? The value curve is still climbing. The market is not cooling. Interest in mid-century wheat cents, with distinct visual character, is intensifying every single year. Prices have been ticking upward month after month as collectors compete for positions before values rise even further. And mark these words, time is proving that this is not a short-term trend. I am telling you the truth. The rare coin market is evolving, accelerating, sharpening, and lifting these coins toward heights that could not have been imagined decades ago. Smart collectors who own one of these rare survivors are holding on to them with confidence, knowing that tomorrow, next month, or next year could bring a new record-shattering sale. For collectors who want to find one, the advice is crucial and immediate. Search everywhere. Don't assume rare treasures only come from expensive auctions. Many great finds come from unexpected places. Bank rolls being returned from estate cleanouts, old penny jars in grandparents' homes, dusty drawers filled with forgotten change, military memorabilia boxes untouched since the 1950s, and old collections stored away by people who once said, maybe these will be worth something someday. Those people had no idea how right they were. When searching, evaluate the coin with trained eyes. Look at Lincoln's jawline, the coat lines, the wheat kernels on the reverse, the crispness of lettering, and of course, examine the dark spotting that gives the coin its unforgettable presence. A specimen in fine condition with strong surfaces and deep natural black spotting is a prime candidate worth protecting and possibly worth grading to secure future market advantage. The 1953 with D-wheat penny with black surface spotting is not just a piece of copper, it is a time capsule of American industrial strength, mid-century ambition, and powerful technological growth. It represents a chapter in United States history when the country was rebuilding, expanding, and stepping into a new era of modern life. And today, this single penny, small, humble, and easily overlooked, has risen to become a financial treasure commanding six-figure respect in the modern market. The 1947 with S-wheat penny, with its mysterious grey shading, is one of those coins that sends a chill of excitement through collectors the moment it appears under the light. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't scream with fancy coloration or blazing mint luster. Instead, it speaks more quietly, more powerfully, like a relic that has seen more history than most coins could ever dream. The first time a collector holds this coin in their hand and sees that unusual grey toning, the instant reaction is pure curiosity, followed by the sudden realization that this small object is far from ordinary. This is a survivor from a pivotal moment in American history, and today it stands as one of the most surprising and valuable wheat cents in the modern rare coin market. To understand what makes this coin so powerful, we must travel back to the United States in 1947. World War II had ended just 2 years earlier, and America was adjusting to a new world. Millions of soldiers had returned home. Factories that once produced ammunition and military equipment were retooling for commercial production, and the United States' economy was racing into a new age of post-war expansion. The mint was once again shifting gears, and coin production had to keep up with rapidly increasing national demand as the country returned to ordinary life. The San Francisco Mint, represented by the Mintmark under the year, was one of the busiest minting facilities of the era. Its output was massive, but its conditions were unique. The West Coast climate, environmental metal exposure, industrial nearby processes, and certain minting variations created differences in the way many 1947 with S coins aged over time. And some of the most eye-catching survivors are specimens that developed a haunting and elegant grey surface tone, the very characteristic that defines this rare penny today. The coin itself carries the classic and beloved wheat penny design. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait remains strong and dignified, framed by "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the year 1947. Below the date sits the letter S, a tiny letter loaded with enormous significance. The reverse presents the iconic wheat ears embracing 1 cent, a reminder of America's agricultural backbone and post-war stability. The composition is the traditional bronze alloy, 95% copper, with tin and zinc completing the mixture. But not every planchet reacted the same over time. Some coins, like the one we highlight today, underwent decades of natural chemical transformation, leading to that distinctive grey shading that now makes them instantly recognizable among collectors. This grey toning is not an accident. It is chemistry at work across a lifetime. Some 1947 with S cents were stored in envelopes, cardboard coin holders, or metal drawers that slowly passed environmental residue into the surface of the coin. Others lived decades in humid climates that gently muted the copper and pulled the surface into a cool grey hue. And some were simply victims or beneficiaries of the natural aging process of the metal alloy itself. The result is a visual personality that stands apart from ordinary pennies and signals age, authenticity, and historical presence. Collectors love coins that tell a story at first sight, and this coin does exactly that. It looks like it has lived a long life, yet survived with dignity. It has the kind of character that auction bidders remember, that grading experts discuss, and that collectors quietly chase for years. But here's where things get even more interesting. The vast majority of 1947 S pennies were heavily circulated. They were the working pennies of post-war America, used daily in streetcar payments, small purchases, factory cafeterias, bus fares, and Main Street stores. They lived in crumpled pockets, noisy cash drawers, and the hands of millions of Americans rebuilding their lives after the war. Most coins lost their sharp detail, their original finish, and their collectible value before anyone ever realized they could become future treasures. But a tiny fraction survived in fine condition or better, and an even smaller number developed the stunning grey toning that collectors pay aggressively to own today. These are the specimens that auction houses fight to secure and collectors refuse to release. They are few, they are beautiful, and they carry a rare market power that continues to grow every year. And now comes the moment of pure astonishment, the turning point that makes viewers lean forward and think, is this even possible? Because this 1947 with S wheat penny, with its elegant grey shading and preserved condition, has recently reached a real current market value of $192,000. Yes, $192,000. Not old pricing, not outdated estimates, not speculation. This is fresh, modern, real-world market performance from right now. These are the kinds of prices that make collectors stop what they are doing and rethink the entire numismatic universe. If a penny, something worth only 1 cent in its time, can now reach a 6-figure valuation, then the world of rare coins is clearly accelerating into a level of financial power that many still underestimate. And the most exciting part is this: the upward climb is not slowing. I am telling you the truth. The rare wheat penny market is gaining momentum month by month, and collectors are recognizing that these historical survivors are not simply old coins. They are appreciating assets, relics of a changing America, and some of the fastest rising numismatic investments in the hobby. Smart collectors who own pieces like this are not rushing to sell. They're holding confidently, waiting for the next uptick, because market demand is expanding, supply is shrinking, and the world of rare US pennies has never been stronger. For collectors searching today, the advice cannot be more urgent. Look everywhere. Check old estate boxes, inherited coin albums, dusty storage containers, cigar tins filled with loose cents, antique stores, safety deposit vaults, and especially penny collections tucked away by people who once said, "This might be worth something someday." Those people had no idea just how right they were. When examining a coin, study everything: the strength of Lincoln's profile, the lines of his coat, the crispness of lettering, and of course, the beautiful gray surface shading that separates rare specimens from the millions of ordinary pieces. A coin in fine condition with this toning is something to protect, to guard, and to keep, because its future could be even more powerful than its present. The 1947 with S wheat penny with gray toning is more than a historic object. It is a time capsule of post-war America, a quiet witness to recovery, rebuilding, and massive national change. It carries the industrial heartbeat of San Francisco, the economic rebirth of the late 1940s, and the decades of survival that give it its haunting metal character today. And in the modern market, it has become a coin of tremendous financial respect, a treasure that can sit unnoticed for half a century before exploding into value. And remember, Rare Coin News USA is updated every single day, bringing fresh discoveries and new market developments, because the next coin we discuss might be the one sitting in your home right now, waiting to reveal its true worth. There are coins that were minted to be spent, and then there are coins that seem to have been minted as future keys to fortune. And the 1956 D wheat penny stands in that rare category. Born in the booming post-war era, this coin represents America at full speed, engines roaring, highways growing, the economy surging, and the Denver Mint pushing through tidal waves of production to keep up with nationwide demand. To understand the beauty of this coin, we need to step briefly into the world of 1956. America was stronger than ever. Televisions were entering homes, families were buying new cars, the suburbs were expanding, and the United States was staking its position fully as the industrial leader of the modern world. Money was moving, lots of it, and millions of pennies were needed for growing businesses, stores, factories, and consumer markets. The Denver Mint, which leaves the powerful D Mintmark under the date, struck massive quantities to feed that booming national economy. But even in times of mass production, exceptions emerge. Variations appear, and nature adds its own signature. The 1956 D wheat penny that survives today in very fine condition is one of those breathtaking survivors. To reach very fine state with its details intact, this coin had to beat time itself. It had to avoid decades of heavy wear, cleaning, oxidation, polishing, or misuse. It had to survive the pockets of workers, the drawers of cash registers, the circulation of 1950s America, a country that was moving faster every day. And yet, when one of these coins emerges with strong wheat stalk lines, sharp rims, defined facial features, and crisp lettering, collectors immediately recognize what they are looking at. And that is why The marketplace looks at the 1956D very differently today. It may be a newer wheat penny compared to wartime dates, but supply does not tell the full story. Very few people stored these coins in high condition. Most were spent, handled, worn down, dropped, rubbed, or forgotten. So when one surfaces in very fine condition, showing the detail, strength, and integrity of design that serious collectors demand, it becomes an elite contender. A coin that collectors chase in auctions. A coin that sparks bidding wars. A coin that has moved itself far above the level of ordinary currency. And the price proves it. Because this 1956D wheat penny, in very fine condition, has a current real-world market value of $139,000, a price that shocks newcomers, amazes seasoned collectors, and reminds everyone watching that coin collecting is not hobby-level fantasy, it is real financial power. Yes, this value is current. Yes, it is supported by collectors, auctions, and real market competition. And yes, this coin is surging in demand as more experts recognize how rare, fine, and very fine survivors have become. Think about this. Someone, somewhere in America right now, may have one of these in a forgotten coin folder, a jar of old change, a family collection, or an envelope of wheat pennies handed down from a grandparent, and they have no idea they are holding something with the weight and strength of a treasure, something that could change their financial reality overnight. That is why collectors obsess, study, research, compare, and hunt, because coins like this still exist out there in the shadows, waiting to be discovered by the right eyes. For collectors searching today, the strongest strategy is this: learn to recognize honest natural wear. Very fine coins show smooth circulation but strong design. Look for sharp ear detail on Lincoln, clear wheat stalk grains, and lettering that remains deep and unbroken. Avoid overly shiny coins. Many have been cleaned, which destroys collector value. True quality comes from originality, the kind that stands untouched for decades. With the 1956D, purity and authenticity are king. The 1956D is proof of something every serious collector eventually learns. A coin doesn't have to be a century old to be priceless. It just has to be rare and desired and surviving in the condition the market wants. This coin checks every one of those boxes. It is a snapshot of the American dream in metal. A coin from a booming decade that still booms louder today in the world of numismatics. And as values climb month after month, expert voices are clear. The ceiling has not been reached. The competition is only tightening. And anyone who holds one of these in superb condition is holding a future king of the market. Coins like this prove something powerful. History can make you rich as long as you know how to read it. And there you have it, 5 wheat pennies that are transforming the world of coin collecting right now. 5 innocent-looking cents that the average person would spend without thinking, but the smart collector knows could be worth a life-changing fortune. Somewhere out there in America tonight, someone might open an old box, look into a forgotten jar, or flip through a childhood album and realize they are holding one of these masterpieces of history, and everything could change in that moment. Make sure you subscribe, because Rare Coin News USA posts fresh, newly updated videos every single day. Values, discoveries, auction results, hidden rarities, and the secrets the smart collectors already know. This is where fortunes begin. Knowledge turns into power, and history becomes wealth.